And here we go. Go ahead and grab your ball. And we will start by rolling the feet. So I tried to find a space where you could see my head as with my lower body, but I think I'm just too tall for that. So anyways, you can listen to the talking body, no head. We're gonna take the ball and roll. So again, we're finding that space between the ball of your foot and the heel and all that. Imagine the palm of your hand and you want to explore that with the ball. We're gonna spend where did my ball go? Okay, wait. We're gonna spend 2 minutes on each foot, rolling each foot. And I want you to pay attention to what is tight, what's not tight. I'll show you different angles here. I'm on the inside edge, right there by the arch of my foot. And from here, straight up and down the middle. And out here, I'm really on that outside edge. You can kind of see my ball scooching out there from the side. So think of the 3 zones, vertical zones between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot. And see how I turn my big toe down, getting into that arch space. And as you do this, spend a little time moving the toes. So mostly pulling them up and spreading them wide, or just let them hang out, relax. All right, so again, this is stripping. We're stripping those fascia tissues on the bottom of our feet, but we want to add some movement, stretch, opening up those soft tissues, allowing the little joints in the feet to move. All right, so do this a little bit longer here. I'm rolling. And think about, make a little map in your head about what areas of the foot you're going to hit when we go to our polka dotting, just coming up here pretty quick. What areas were tight for me? It's definitely in that arch space. I can feel more than I can out here on this outside edge. All right. And remember the breath. So if you haven't spent a little focus on your breath yet, go ahead and do that here. Big inhales and exhales. You want to regulate that breath. And at no point, hold it. Okay, so same foot, stay with the same foot. Now push down, hold, wiggle the toes. When I say wiggle, I really mean lift and spread, and then come back off. And rock on, and rock off. And rock on, and rock off. Good. So here you're targeting the spaces that you found tightness in. Push down, hold. You can stay longer if you want. Really try to get movement through those toes. Spread them nice and wide. Good. And then now I'm going to put that put the ball right below the ball of your foot. Okay, so if this is the ball of your foot, you're going to put the ball right below it. So imagine your palm, right, and going side to side. So going big toe to pinky toe, rolling in and out. Okay. So we're doing a couple of things here. We're massaging right below the ball of the foot, right in that space, and we're also getting movement through the ankle, right? So you're gonna do movement here in the hip too. That's fine. And see as you go, if you can quiet the hip a little bit. It's never gonna stop, right? But can you quiet the hip a little bit and look down and get a little bit more movement out of that ankle? Our ankle joint is a mobile joint, so we want it to be able to move. The key is having it move where we're in control of it. We don't lose control, because then we end up rolling our ankle and injuring. We want that mobility to be very much under our control. Okay, so last one on the foot here. Go ahead and put the ball right underneath the ball of your foot. So if this was your foot right here in the center, put the ball right there. And you're gonna grab it as if you're gonna pick it up. So scrunch up those toes, and then boom, throw it away, and lift and spread the toes, and pick it up, and throw it away, and lift it up, and throw it away. As you throw it away, kind of rock onto that ball a little bit and rock off. Pick it up and throw it away. Just about 30 more seconds here. Go ahead, just a couple more. Crunching those toes. Push it down, spread the toes wide. Good. All right, so that's that one side. Go ahead and shake out that foot. Shake out not just the foot, but the whole leg. Shake out from the hip. And then do our kind of dance here. Standing on one leg, standing on the other. Feel the difference on the side that you just rolled. Okay. Should feel stronger, more awake. Those muscles are more alert, more alive on that side. I think just more awake is really what it feels like to me. All right, so let's go ahead and switch sides. I'm going to switch to the other foot. Same thing. Spend a couple minutes rolling. Back and forth. Remember those 3 vertical zones. The medial, which is the inside. Think arch of the foot. The middle, straight up and down. So think of those 2 middle toes. Back to the heel. And then that outside edge. Way out there. Kind of beyond the line of the pinky toe. So you can get that all the way out there. Rolling back and forth. Big inhales and exhales. Okay. Just about 30 more seconds here, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So what does it feel like on this foot? Where's the tension? Which areas are you going to target? For me on this foot, there's definitely on that back outside corner some tightness, as well as the back inside corner. So that's where I'm going to focus to start. Okay, and we're going to rock on, wiggle the toes, rock off, rock on, wiggle the toes, rock off. So lift and spread the toes, but also see if you can do a little of that piano fingers. And I know it doesn't look like that with your toes, but the point being we want to get as much movement through the toes and as much independent movement as we can. Good, rocking on, rocking off. Good. Just about 20 more seconds here. All right. Now we're going to go to that space just below the ball. Right? I'm going to do that same thing. Rolling from inside to outside. So think of the big toe going towards the floor and reverse. Pinky toe going to the floor. Meanwhile, the ball is just below the ball of the foot. Do a nice massage. Cross friction massage, right? Across this way. Let's see if we can get that hip to just quiet down a little bit. And how much movement can you still get from the ankle and foot? Big inhales and exhales. Good. Now, picking up the ball. So we're really trying to crunch those toes around it and then throw it away. And pick up the ball and then throw it away. And pick it up so you're kind of rocking on. As you throw it away, rock onto it and pick it up and throw it away. Good, just a few more here. Let's do 4 more. Pick it up, throw it away, pick it up, throw it away, and pick it up, and throw it away, and last one, pick it up, and throw it away. Good. All right. So same thing. Let's go side to side here. Both sides should feel better, more stable. Good. All right, so we're going to go into stretching the feet. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple options here. All right. So if you don't have a wall in front of you, you can certainly just go here. The key to this is all 10 toes point forward. All right, so we're not opened up here like in yoga, but all 10 toes pointed forward, tailbone tucked, press the heel down. We're going to go straight knee, but also a little bent knee. You can do the same thing into the wall here. All right, so we're going to push forward. And we're doing here, same thing, heel goes down as the hips come forward. Straight knee and bent knee, so stretching the calves. All right. Then when it comes to the feet, you can go from here to bottom of the foot. Now we're going to push off, going to lift that heel up, press the toes down, tailbone tucked, get a little stretch here in the front. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. We'll lift the toes. So we're going to go toes into the floor, front of the foot forward. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. So we have straight knee, bent knee, bottom of the foot, top of the foot. And I just want you to spend time in any of these that you need on your own here for about 30 seconds. You can alternate between the three. Spend time in the one that your body needs the most. Maybe there's a couple. Keep the breath, big inhales and exhales. Good, and then just go ahead and switch. So same thing. Check to make sure, and give yourself a little look back. So that back foot could be spinning out. You don't really realize it. So give it a look. Make sure all 10 toes are pointed forward. I'm going to put that heel down to the floor. Tuck the tailbone. Press the hips forward here. And then you're going to come up on the toes. So like I'm going to take off running. I'm going to stop right here as I come up on my toes. Hold. Good, and then top of the foot, top of the toes, I should say, into the floor, front of the foot forward. This is top of the foot stretch. Okay, and then same thing, any of those four positions. So we have toes straight ahead, knee straight, heel down. We have knee bent, heel down. We have up on the toes, that frozen sprint. And we have tops of the toes on the floor, front of the ankle forward. Good. All right. Come on down to the floor. We're going to use that yoga brick or books or whatever you have for our calf stretch. So using the brick or books, you're going to put the ball on top of it. And then that gives you just a little bit better angle to get into those nooks and crannies of the calf. Okay, so I'm here just starting out with that calf shock right here, that biggest calf muscle. I'm just putting the ball in that space and then moving around. So just having that ball elevated a little bit just puts you at a little bit better angle to get that ball into these tissues here. So rolling back and forth, toes in, getting that inside edge here, right? Toes out, I'm gonna get that outside edge. we're going up and down a little bit. Let that ball just nuzzle right up against that outer leg bone. I'm going to take it all the way up. So here's the back of my knee, right? I'm going to take it all the way up into that space. And then have as much movement as you can tolerate here. So big movement through the feet and toes. And I'm doing mostly vertical here, right? Kind of scooching my body forward and back. And do a little circular pattern, especially if you find a knot. Maybe just kind of move it around and circulate it. All right. And we'll stay on this leg for just about a minute. So take some time to pull that gastroc out of the way and put the ball in that space so you can get at the soleus, which again lies underneath the gastroc. Soleus is our primary mover as far as pulling the toes up to the shin. Right? This motion here, which we tend to lose as we age. So really try to, if that's tight, spend some extra time on that soleus space. We don't want that soleus to get so tight. Really affects our ankle and our foot mobility as well as our balance. So big inhales and exhales. Good. All right, so same thing on the other side. All right, so right here, my gastroc, I'm going to start with the ball right in there. And again, we want to imagine the muscles just kind of relaxing, releasing, kind of, I guess, enveloping the ball a little bit. We want that ball to get in those tissues. And now those knots, if they're so tight, what we want to do is just work, add movement. So very easy here, we're going to add that ankle movement, the breath. So important to have the breath. Back and forth, side to side, whatever you need. All right, outside edge, inside edge, up here high. So the gastroc is right up from the knee to about midway. Soleus is where that Achilles turns into muscle tissue, and then behind, up in here, but behind that gastroc. Okay. So we'll spend the rest of the minute here, about 40 more seconds on this leg. So make sure you spend some time in that soleus on this side, and hopefully this block or bricks or just this elevated surface feels better here. Right? A little bit easier to get the ball into the space you need. If it's too much though, obviously you can take it away and go back to just having things on the floor. But it's just a little bit easier to maneuver and get the ball in the places you need here at this angle. All right, so we're going to finish up here on this side, and then we're going to come up one more time. I'm going to show you a great stretch for the calves and feet using this brick. And then we'll come back to the floor to finish. Right? So I'm going to put the ball to the side for just for now. I'm going to grab that brick. And if you have that open wall space, I'm just going to stick it here on the wall. Right? So I have it tilted up, if you can see it. And then I'm going to put my heel on the floor and my toes on the brick. So heel on the floor, toes on the brick. And then I'm just going to lean into the wall. So what I'm doing here, knee straight, heel down. Looks like I'm kissing the wall, but with my toes up here and on the brick, my toes are nice and wide. I'm going to take big inhales and exhales here, getting a great stretch all the way into the back of my knee. And then I'm just going to bend the knee just a little bit. I'm going to feel that stretch go down toward the Achilles. So big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And if you don't have a wall, no worries. Do the same thing here. Just rock that brick back. Hold. and breathe. All right, so go ahead and switch. I'm going to stay off the wall just because you can hear me better if I'm talking towards the computer rather than the wall. But remember, you can put the brick on the wall or the book or whatever you have so it's angled, right? Bricks are great because they have this tacky surface, and so you're not going to really slip around on them. If you're just straight, you can just let the heel drop. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One of my favorite stretches for the calves, ankle, and feet here. If you don't have a yoga brick, they're very easy to get a hold of. Amazon, you want to go to the store, usually Target, Walmart, anybody will have them. They don't cost, they shouldn't cost more than, maybe $10 at the most. It's just a foam block, but you want to have something that has that tacky surface to it. Big inhales and exhales. Good. All right. So spend a lot of time, feet, ankle, calves, right? I could always do on Monday, spend a lot of time on my lower body, but today, a lot of time just on the knees down. I want you to really feel the difference, not just from the knees down. You should feel more activity, quads, hips, glutes, and stretch it or shake it out a little bit. All right, so I'm going to move up the chain. I'm going to do a little bit of work in the quads, right? So again, if you think of that line, just kind of cutting that thigh in half from a front half to a back half. Okay, that line cut in half is your IT band. We don't want to roll that. We're going to roll right in front of that space. Right, so if I'm here, I'll show you where the ball is. The ball is right here, kind of towards the front, and now I'm just going down and up. So the ball is going down and up. And we want to pretty much keep the ball from just about mid-calf up towards the hip, because below that, that tissue just gets really, really fibrous. It's where your IT band is pretty much only IT. So this is all IT, and then my muscle comes in here. And we're targeting, again, the muscles, right? So I have a good knot right here. I can feel it. I'm going to spend some time just going back and forth right in this space. Big inhales and exhales. Targeting here, that vastus lateralis, the outer edge of the quadricep muscle, which that tends to overwork just like your glute med tends to overwork, especially in women. Hips are wider, and we tend to over-recruit these outer muscles rather than the inner, the medial muscles. All right, go ahead and switch. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and switch to the other side. So I just rolled this space right here. I found a little knot right in here. So notice I've got my knee bent, and I can go down and up. That ball's only traveling maybe that far, so I'm going to relocate it every so often. Find a new section to work on. Right? And then you can spend a little time on the front of the calf as well. I'm going to put it right there, and I'm just going to squish the ball between my leg and the wall. And again, I'm just doing a little bit vertical up and down. Big inhales and exhales. Good, and just go same thing, switch and go the other side whenever you're ready. So right in the front, more the front of the quad here. Good, all right, so let's stretch those quads. Put my ball down, I'm going to grab the foot so you can kind of see from this angle. I've got my heel pulled into the butt, and if you can't get there, that's fine. And you can even use your strap here to help you. From this angle, what I want you to see is that knee is tucked in, not out to the side here. So I'm tucked in, standing tall, big inhale, exhale. Now, when I say go, I want you to take your foot and kick it into your hand. So in other words, you're trying to kick your foot away from your glute. Hip pressing forward. Ready? Big inhale, exhale, kick and hold. Keep holding. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Pull that heel in tight. Standing tall. Feel that stretch all the way down. Big inhales and exhales. Good. Go ahead and switch. Other side. Quad stretch. So I've got that knee pulled in as far in as it'll go, but see how my knee is underneath my hip. Not forward here. Not back here. And then from the side, it's tucked in as well. Standing tall. Go ahead and use a wall. Don't lean in it, just use it for a balance aid. Now ready? Kick the foot into the hand and hold. And pull it back in and hold. Good, and shake that out. So we're gonna go up the chain. And today we're gonna focus a little bit more on the hip than the glutes. If you feel like you need to spend time on the glutes, and obviously go ahead and do it. But I want you to focus today, what we're gonna talk about today, is more the hip into this space. So think of hip flexors, external rotators out here. Of course, you can roll the glutes whenever you want. So I'm going to show you, I have the ball here, but I'm going to show you on the other side. So I've got the ball right in this space here. Okay? So this is the top of my hip bone is basically where my pants are. Right? I've got the ball right below it, in that space. Big inhale, exhale. So we're targeting here is where that IT band comes up into another tissue that's not a muscle, right? But we're going to target the muscles all around these. So this is your TFL, right? So tensor fascia lata, right? It's another fascia. And if you imagine where you kind of put your hands into your pockets, front pockets, and maybe just kind of this space, this is what that TFL space that we're targeting. So I'm just kind of rocking back and forth here. Again, just trying to get that ball to kind of nuzzle into that space. Big inhales and exhales. Moving it back towards the glute, maybe going into that glute space a little bit. And we will spend lots of time on the glute, of course, on Wednesday. But today I wanted to spend a little bit more time here through the hip because we're going to do something with the brick that targets those hip flexor muscles. All right, so hopefully you're finding some spaces here to work on. You find a tight spot where you can always take that arm up, lengthen, and reach over the top. Go ahead and just go ahead and switch to the other side. So I'm going to show you here. So this is the top of my pelvis, right? I've got the ball right, kind of moving all around this space here. Okay. So think of your ball and socket joint, which is always lower than you think. And it's right in here. I've got the ball basically nuzzled between the rim of my pelvis and that ball and socket. I'm going a little bit of a horizontal pattern. I'm going to go a little bit of a vertical pattern. Again, imagine if you were going to take your hands along your hip and slip them in your back pocket. Kind of that path right there is where we want to take that ball. Okay. show you again from this side, a little bit easier for me to turn and look at the screen here. All right, so we're going to just spend space right here, just about 30 more seconds. Big inhales and exhales, breathing. All right, so that's where we're going to, all we're going to do with the ball today. So come on down to the floor. And what we're going to do first is we're going to find that half kneel position, okay? So my back knee is on the floor. I'm going to target this hip flexor space. Now, in order to really get the hip flexors, we don't want to just come forward here. We're going to take the pelvis and tuck it back. So imagine that pelvis tucking under, right? That little posterior tilt, and then coming forward, stretching that hip flexor. Okay, so the knee that is down, take that arm up to the ceiling, really kind of climbing the ladder there, reaching up as high as I can, feeling that stretch all the way down, maybe even into the knee there. And then I can do a little lateral reach as well. Up and over. Good, and then coming back, let's go ahead and switch. Target the same area on the other side. So same thing, taking that pelvis, doing that little posterior tilt, and then coming forward. Really want to feel it in that hip flexor. Okay. I'm going to climb the ladder, reach up, lengthen, 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 reach to the ceiling. And again, I can do the lateral reach. If you don't want to do the lateral, don't have to do it. Big inhales and exhales. Good. All right. So we're going to flip over. I'm going to take that brick and I'm going to put it underneath the hips. And this is where we're going to finish today. But before we finish in our breathing, we're going to spend a little time on, again, those hip flexors. So hip flexors get tight, 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 right? Especially when we do a lot of sitting, which we do a lot of. They get really, really tight. And what they do is tend to pull forward, right? So my hip flexors get tight. I'm going to pull the front of my pelvis forward. Pulls my whole pelvis forward, puts a lot of compression there in my low back space. So here I want you to find a position where your pelvis is fully supported by the brick or the yoga or the block or books, whatever you have there is fine. And I just want you to take a couple big breaths. Big inhale, filling the belly, into the diaphragm, lungs, and then just exhale. And as you finish that exhale, see if you can feel those pelvic floor muscles as well. And doing that again, big inhale. And exhale. Good. And then just one, I want you to make sure that the ribs and hips are connected here. Right? Bring up one leg, then the other, and send them up to the ceiling. So here, we're just in this waterfall pose. Heels stacked over hips, toes pulled down to the nose. It should give you a nice stretch here in the hamstrings. Okay, so what we're going to do, just going to lower one leg down. Now we're not going to let it go all the way. Okay, so I'm going to hold it here. And what we're doing is doing a little bit of a strength or activation of the hip flexor here. Okay, so we're talking about hip flexors being tight, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're strong. Okay, tight does not mean strong. So here, we're letting the weight of the leg here challenge that hip flexor. Now we don't want to let those ribs pop up, right? We want to keep that connection here, holding in opposition, giving a stretch here on that straight leg. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Bring that low leg up and then slowly switch. All right, so we're going to let that leg that's lowered, keeping it straight, going to let it hang there. We're challenging the strength of the hip flexor on that side. Keep it off the floor, keep it long. Let's do 3 more breaths here. Good, bring that leg back up. Bend the knees, feet down. Now we're going to go into a little bit of more of an activation here. We're going to focus on the inner thighs. So same thing, connect through the ribs and the hips. Legs come straight up. I want you to turn your toes away from each other so that the heels are kind of clicking together. See how I'm stacked? Heels over hips. Now we're going to go out and in. And the key to this one is as you bring those legs in, you're reaching the heel up for the ceiling and really lengthening out of the hip space. And just do about 6 more reps here. Again, activating that inner thigh space, getting that rotation through the hips. 6. Activation of the lower abdominals. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Give them a little stretch. If that feels good on that low back here, you're welcome to stay. Just kind of rolling those feet around. And then I welcome you to finish up with our breathing here in any position that is comfortable for you. Okay? Knees bent, feet flat. 5. Knees bent, feet up. You could come into waterfall. You could bring your knees towards your chest. Whatever feels comfortable in your space where you can focus on your breath here for the next few minutes. So our breath here is what we want to focus on. Again, starting the breath in the belly, big inhale, and then taking that breath through the diaphragm space into the lungs, allowing those lungs to completely fill and spread the rib cage. I want you to feel like your rib cage is being challenged to move in all directions. And then exhale, starting with the ribs, pressing down through the diaphragm, into the belly, and finish with some pelvic floor activation. So wherever you feel comfortable with your legs, you could come off the brick as well. If you're not finding this at all comfortable, you're welcome to come off the brick, put your legs up the wall, whatever works for you. But I encourage you to do at least 5 more breaths here. All right. So welcome to stay there. Continue with your breath. If you have any questions at all, please shoot me an email. Happy to hear from everybody. And take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And be back on Wednesday. Bye-bye.